Welcome back to Agri Talk. Today we are talking about value addition, and in studio I'm still joined by Angela, who is a food scientist, and we've been having a very fruitful conversation. What about the kind of dress code these people put on in the market? Because you get whoever carries your bag. You've seen those the people who carry stuff in the market.
Yeah.
Their dress code alone. The people who are still handling that stuff. Because if you visit other countries and you visit their markets, they have a dress code. So do we also need to go that way, or we can just try and find a way of making sure we are clean?
Okay, dress code, it impacts very minimally, though. We are looking at the PPE, the personal protective equipment. For example, dust coats.
Okay.
We can say it's a requirement. You need to have a dust coat when you're selling food, or even these days I have seen, at least even in the kibanda setup, those people try to wear a dust coat. At least they're trying to protect the food from surfaces, because right now whatever you're wearing can be, you have interacted with a number of areas. So it can, you will find that you have exposed yourself to so many things. So you get that when you cover yourself, you're protecting that food from getting contaminated by whatever you have interacted with. So I think that is basic requirement. You ensure, at least these days I see the mama mbogas, they ensure they've covered their hair properly. Yeah.
So we are getting there slowly.
Yeah, and the hand washing, I can say, has improved.
Yeah, hand washing.
Hand washing is
Not by
done
choice.
frequently. Yeah, you have to wash your hands, which that is the other thing, because you're interacting with the food with your hands. For example, you buy vegetables. This person will just catch it with their hands and then put it. So if they're not clean, be sure you're getting that, whatever they're getting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about all this, another big issue is how bad is our rate of food losses?
Food loss, that is, let me say, post-harvest losses.
Yes.
It's still a challenge. It's still a huge challenge. And right now, actually, we are looking at, we are having seasons for different fruits, for different vegetables. So at some point when you are having, for example, mangoes, so many mangoes in the market, and because we do not have enough facilities to add value, or we do not have enough, let me say, monetary support to be able to set up 1, 2 where we can add value for that particular item, it will go to waste. Look at vegetables. For example, spinach or sukuma wiki, you get that in one week, or even 3 days, 4 days, it's already something else. So if we are not able to add value to those items, it goes down the drain. And that is our situation as of now. Until we find ways of supporting, for example, youth. There are so many youth out here who have very brilliant ideas when it comes to value addition. But because they do not have that capacity, they do not have that facilitation, they're not able to. And these are things that can help us improve our food security situation, and it can minimize the post-harvest losses very hugely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've talked about the youth, but I'm also thinking, as you said earlier, food adding value, that you don't have to look for a processor or someone who has a facility. You can start adding value at your own farm.
Yes.
So what part can we encourage the youth to play? Because the value chain is very long.
Yeah,
you don't have, because I think sometimes we concentrate on forcing them to be farmers. We forget that there's a whole chain.
Yeah.
So how can we encourage them to play part in this value chain?
You know, these days, there are groups. Yeah, you can form groups, and within those groups, you will get very many ideas, and you can be able to support each other. For example, let me give an example with sugarcane. Guys who do sugarcane farming, yeah, you can be able to find out. For example, we are 5 individuals, so we already have labor. So we are not going to think about cost of paying somebody to do anything. We are there already. So you have the raw material that is already there. So you can have ideas. For example, somebody can say, with this sugarcane, what if we try and chop them into pieces and maybe package them nicely for sale, so that you've added value already, by just peeling and slicing it into pieces and just packing and selling for that person who does not have that time to go to the market.
And even chop
Exactly. Like you'll just go get a packet of sugarcane and eat. That is one person's idea. Somebody else can come with sugarcane. We can make, for example, they can crush. These days, the sugarcane juice. You can do sugarcane juice. People can buy. And then with that, you can make molasses. You can make so many things with that. So when you come together, I believe you can generate so many ideas and you can also go very far. Because, for example, like chopping sugarcane or slicing and peeling sugarcane, you do not even need it. You only need a knife and your hands and you chop and the sugarcane itself, you know. So
And
it's
you've
not as
already added
expensive.
value.
Just come together. Sometimes people find working in groups difficult because maybe somebody would feel like they own the whole thing. But just find people who you share a common goal with, meet up, and I know you can do something. You can make a change.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of also value addition, the SMEs that you work with,
Yeah.
how do they source their fruits, whatever they're adding value to, and how do they identify these farmers?
So, for example, like currently, where I'm at, what we do is we work with corn, because at first identifying an organic farmer, it's very difficult. And let me say, with how life is, it's very difficult to a point that somebody can actually lie they're actually doing organic farming just to get their produce bought. So we work with organizations. At least with organizations, they have created platforms where a farmer can register, and they have identified a number of farmers. So you get that when you work with an organization, they will give you leads. We have a number of guys, so you can go do vets, farm audits, and then identify, is this the person I want to work with? The quality of their produce, are they what you want? Then you can organize from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of production, and I'm feeling not even production, market. How is the market at the moment, especially for value-added dried fruit, all those things that these SMEs are producing? How is that market?
So as at now, when you're doing new products, people are very interesting because they're very fearful of trying something new. They're like, hey, let me just stick to whatever I am used to. But these days, I am seeing so many people coming out. They're like, there is nothing bad that will come from it. Let me just try it. If I don't like it, I leave it. If I like it, then okay, I can continue with it. So there's been a lot of positive response to new products. And sometimes, like right now, I have realized there's a lot of demand for organic foods. So you get that production now, guys need to go back and produce because there is market for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the export market? How is it?
The export market, it's interesting again. It's good market because now majorly tropical crops that we have, which are not found in the other countries, are what sell most. And you get that those, let me say, for example, European market, it's very good market. Guys are willing to pay. But now you have to conform. You have to produce the quality that is required because every market has its own requirement. For example, yourself, if you're going to buy a mango, you can prefer, I want it semi-ripe, I want it raw, I want it overripe. That is your own requirement. So when you're going to buy, even if I tell you mine is semi-raw and it's really good, you want ripe, you will find ripe. Even if I try to convince you in what ways, you know what you want, and that is what you would want delivered. So they're very strict. There are very many requirements you have to adhere to. For example, ISO 22000 these days is what is being used majorly. So if you're not able to get ISO 22000, then let me say, you will not be able to penetrate that market.
Okay.
Because again, the systems, they assure food safety. Yeah. So if you have that system in place, somebody will be sure whatever I am getting from this guy or this organization, I am sure it is safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about ISO certification.
Yeah.
I know you also help these SMEs get ISO certified.
Yes.
First, let's start by making our viewers understand what ISO stands for in the first place, before even we look at the process of getting ISO certified.
So basically, for example, ISO, it's an international standard. So you get that it's a system. And when I say a system, it's something that includes how do you do things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically how do you do things.
Like a roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, you want to do production of mango juice. How are you going to produce this mango juice? Yeah. So you have first, there's the issue of traceability, which is something we are also battling as a country in matters food safety. When you're looking at traceability, you should be able to know, for example, if I have this particular batch of orange juice and it's not, for example, it has started to spoil, how will I know where the issue came in? So from that batch number, will you be able to tell up to the farm where it was produced? You see? So traceability is key in any system because we want to ensure you can be able to follow back to the producer and also forward to the consumer. So, for example, you will have to either farm it yourself or get a farmer. And when you're getting a farmer, this farmer has to be farming, for example, has to understand good agricultural practices so that when they're farming, they know their methods, their systems that are put in place. As simple as you have to record planting dates, you have to ensure when you're doing any spraying or application of any fertilizer, you have to document. Yeah, at that time, that one will provide you with enough information to know in case the food is not safely produced or it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes back to when you're getting the produce from the farm, and then after you're receiving it from the farm, how do you receive it? How are the hygienic conditions that are governing that? Let me say the plant that you're working with. Yeah, your staff, do they know what they're doing? Are they trained for the job? Because then when you're talking about training, I'm not talking about bachelors or anything. Do they understand they're handling food, and what do you do when you're handling food? Yeah. Yeah. And if you're having equipment, do they understand how to operate that equipment? Because you can bring somebody and they start doing their own things there and they do not even understand what they're doing.
So what part as a food scientist do you play in making sure that whoever is to be ISO certified is really adhering to whatever is stated in this document?
So most of the times, as a food scientist, you need to understand the business. You need to understand the concept. For example, an investor or a business person can come to you and ask you, I want to do this business, so what do I need to do? Or I want to export this item, what do I need to do? You need to understand the vision of this person. You need to understand what business this person wants to do. Once you understand that, then you can look at the situation. So how do I improve? How do I help you as a business person in achieving what goal you have set? So as a food scientist, you will look at from production, there are the requirements. Though there are production experts like agronomists who are now the technical team that are in the farms. So we work closely with agronomists in ensuring safe production of the food, and then now from harvesting then to marketing, we ensure that that food is kept safely, it's produced, the handling has been monitored effectively, and there's minimal or no contamination at any point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a time frame for me when if I want to get my factory, if I'm an SME, is there a timeline that I need to adhere to be certified?
Of course, because when you're looking at certification, documentation you have to provide. Like I have been doing this, for example, hand washing. Actually, in the food industry, hand wash is something that has to be monitored. For example, in the industry, when I was doing French beans, export of French beans, we had our women wash hands after every hour. You stop what you're doing, it's hand wash time, you go wash your hands, and you have to sign you have washed your hands and sanitized before you come back to interact with the food again. So, and that is something, it's a documentation you have to provide that we have been doing this for some time. So we feel we need to get certification. So for them to even certify you, they will have to see what have you been doing so far. So if you're talking about entry, when people are coming to work, you have to indicate you have come to work, because that way you have control of access to premises. In case there's any issue, will you be able to be accountable for that issue? Yeah, there's that. The other thing about traceability, for example, you've been selling these particular batches. So in case there's an issue, will you be able to trace it back to the farm? So when you're able to provide the documentation and you can show you've actually been adhering to the requirements, then certification comes very easy.
Okay.
So with timing, you have to at least have done for some time. And again, for you to get certification, you have to invest, because you have to ensure, for example, you're secure. The organization is secure. That means fencing, you know. You just can't have a kibanda out there and then you're doing 1, 2, for example, in manufacturing. Yeah. But these days, I got to the food safety system certification, which is very friendly. It gets to understand the business at the level it is. The only thing that is very key there, it's food safety. As long as you can be able to prove food safety, you have you have control over that. Then.
So what are the advantages of me having my factory, my place of work being certified?
So in certification, it says it builds confidence for the business, because the client will know I am covered.
Okay.
Matters food safety, I do not have to worry about these guys. For example, considering you have a business that is ISO certified, first things that comes, you are organized.
Mm-hmm.
You are safe. So I know I am safe. And the other thing, actually right now, even if you're venturing into export markets, you find that they prefer when you're ISO certified. And right now I've been seeing a lot of requirements on FSSC, that is food safety system certification.
Mm-hmm.
It's among the top priority. When they see you have that, then they will actually pick you as a supplier. They would be interested in your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we cannot end without talking about the year 2020.
Okay.
I know from March to somehow now,
Yeah.
COVID-19. How has that affected what you do or what you've been doing with the SMEs? And how has it also affected exports of whatever they've been adding value to, if they are exporting at all?
I can say 2020 has not been an easy year. It's been tough, very tough. And you find that farmers, so many businesses have not been able to sustain employees because market has gone down. You're supposed to be selling to somebody, but now you're getting this person, the demand has gone down because one, there's the financial flow, which is not there. Mm. So they cannot afford to get as much. And again, you as a business, you're not able to pay this person because you're not selling as much again. You're not making anything. Mm-hmm. So many people have lost jobs. And another thing, the industry, the markets have gone down. So production has also gone down. Yeah, because you cannot produce if you're not selling. You need a market, you need to sell. But I can say right now, at least I can see there's an improvement. Market has been growing. Regardless of cash flow, there's some positive movement.
Okay.
So we are hoping by next year we should be much better than where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the campaign itself. How did it start? How is it so far? How many youths have you started working with, and from which regions? Okay. Or are you looking for which sectors exactly? And going forward?
So, so far, the campaign I started was on food safety. So trying to work with farmers, trying to get experts to assist farmers, because I cannot say I am an expert farmer myself. No, I am not. So we get experts to train the farmers so that you can get to understand why sometimes some things happen at the farm you may not understand. So it's been a journey. It's not been very easy, especially the current situation, because now restriction of movement, it was not easy. So I have worked with, so far I have interacted with like 10 farmers, and let me say 9 out of the 10 are youths. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's been very encouraging, because these are people, somebody can tell you, I have a piece of land and it's just there. I don't know what to do. And just by the fact that you have that piece of land, there's so many things you can do. Yeah, regardless of whether you have water. These days we have hydroponics. You don't even have to have land. You can farm without land. So technology is improving, and we have had a number of youths come out. So I cannot say I have it under control, because myself I cannot even afford to assist. Mm-hmm. But I am looking forward to getting help. I have interacted with Rockefeller, and those are guys I know. They are supporting any good idea. They are trying to facilitate, and they assist the youth very well. So so far it's been positive, and I'm looking towards getting more and more. So right now we are looking towards having some a plant where you can come, just like we have Kirti, which provides the platform where you can come with your raw materials. They provide the equipment. So that is also the other thing, because Kirti is not everywhere. You can find somebody in Mashinani, and just the thought of transporting that cost to Kirdi and back, it's expensive. So we're looking towards having some small plants where we have equipment, and we have, guys, you can bring whatever you have. You have milk, we have a section where we can deal with milk. You have fruits, we have a section for fruits, so that we encourage guys to come out and bring whatever they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of youth, and you talked about technology.
Yeah.
I think we should have talked about this one earlier. In terms of value addition, how has technology helped? Both social media, still a technology, especially when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
How would you encourage the youth? Because there are some youths who have the numbers on their social media is a market itself.
Yeah.
So how do we encourage them to turn these in, instead of just social places to have fun, you can also use them to make money?
Yeah. So like technology, for example, specifically social media, you can be that SME, yeah, and you have very good items, very good produce. But just because you've not created the marketing, you've not done it well, you're not able to sell. But in real sense, you have really good stuff. So just post it Instagram, in WhatsApp, in Facebook. And something funny, in Facebook, there's this, the cottage industries Kenya Arise. It started by some lady called Munyo, I believe. You have an item, you go and post it there. And you get guys, they buy from you. They're like, oh, you have this, where are you located? Can you deliver? A simple post, and you're already selling. So let us take advantage of these social media platforms, because so many people view those posts, and you may not know who is viewing. Maybe the person who is viewing is somebody who has actually been looking for that particular item. And you find that you're getting a very good client that you can retain. And again, in technology these days, even the equipment that we have, it's boosted and in ensuring food safety, and also in production. For example, the machines, you're able to produce more at a shorter time. So talk about quantities, also talk about the market. So let me say it's a boost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Angela. I think we'll end it there. It's been one of the most exciting conversations we've had of late.
Thank you.
We also say thank you for sparing time to be here. For our viewers at home, we're talking about value addition. I was with Angela Atieno, who is a food scientist, and you heard a lot. The youth, the social media platforms, you can play any part in the food value chain. We'll continue having this conversation, but for now, that is the end of today's Agri Talk. Until next time, goodbye.